This is part 2. This is a seated series, and here I will assume that you have done the reclining series, or at least had a little experience on your backs, lying on your backs, opening, doing some simple openings, warm-ups. So to begin, I'm not actually beginning in this. I know I'm here, but we will not begin in this so-called easy seat, Sukhasana, which is not necessarily so easy for everyone. What we'll do is we'll bring the feet out forward and lean back on the hands. Make sure the elbows are bent. If they're not bent, then the shoulders will rise up. So soften the elbows, lean back, feel the feet grounded, rock into the shoulders. Just a little side, opening the shoulders. This may shift your breathing just naturally by the movement. You can also take this into a circling, so by going to the side and lifting into your chest to the other side and soften, and just let it circle. Let it find its own rhythm. Reverse direction with the circling. One more time. And then from here, find that expansion across the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Continue to feel the feet grounded. Lifting the heart center, opening the throat area. Breathe across the chest. You can really exaggerate this breath. I'll come this way for a moment. So you can really spread through the whole chest area, heart center space. And then soften the chest, draw your chin in to exhale. Roll the shoulders back. Again, finding that opening across the chest. Breathe into it. Soften, exhale. One more time, third time. Soften, exhale. Slide the legs long. I'm going to stay with this orientation for just a few more moments. So with the legs long, still having the arms in that position where they were, to roll the shoulders back and find the expansion across your chest. Lift, heart center, open. Soften the chest, chin in, release the hands. So here we're going to make a shift to place the hands to the top of the legs and slide it out. Only go so far as it feels okay at this moment, and reach and bring it back. Inhale on the return to slide out. So this is really about moving it through. It makes no difference how far over you go to the legs, just keep it moving through. Two more times. Bring it back, resting on the sitting bones. You can rock a little bit the sitting bones side side. Release. I'll change my orientation to face you, bringing my feet forward. Feet right together, open into the butterfly place. So you can kind of wiggle into this position. Find it, notice where the placement of the feet makes the most sense to you. If you draw it too close in, the knees may rise up. So finding that place, rocking into it. The places between the poses are really essential to establishing your seat. Asana means seat, and the asana is the pose, the seat. So here, just find some movement through the head, drop the chin. Bring it back center, looking straight out, bring the hands in, breathe across the chest. Feel your seatedness, sink the tail a little bit. Incline, keeping the back long here, so you only go so far. Keep the back long, allow a little bit of spiral through your chest, upper back. That spiraling will carry down to spine. Bring it center. And feel free to go into further bowing over, see where it takes you. Exhale all the breath. Notice how there's a space between the shoulders here that you can send your breath toward when you're bowing over. So we often think of this as opening the hips, which is happening, but at the same time there's a spreading, opening across the upper back, the shoulders. Have a sense of that, rooting the sitting bones. Sending the breath toward that space between the shoulder blades. And then root the sitting bones to bring yourself back. Drawing the hands in to meet, hands mirror the feet with that contact. Coming together, hands and feet. Let it breathe, feel that integration. Take another breath there and let the hands rise up in front of your face, opening out. Feeling some energy out the crown of the head as you open the arms. Feeling further lengthening through the spine. And then we're going to slide one leg in. So I have my left sliding in, picking up the right. So I'm using the hands to support this leg, cradle this leg, similar to what we did in the reclining series where we were lying on our back, holding the leg in this way. So you can rock it in the hip. Just tuning in how the hip feels. And then we're going to transition this into a seated twist. So that's the seat, the asana, that's coming from this movement. And the way we will get there is by lowering the foot. Use your left hand to the floor. Lift the right hip. So the hip is lifting as you're drawing the foot down. And then rock it back. You could do this a couple of times. If it's too much to have the foot across, you can adjust and bring it more forward, of course. You can adjust the underneath leg till you find your best seated twist position here. A little rocking through the shoulders. So you're preparing for this spiraling action. Keeping a length through the neck. So here we will bring the right hand and just draw it toward your chest. So left hand is wrapping around the leg that's closest to your chest. Lift, have a sense of lifting without lifting the shoulders. Just feel a nice long energy line out the crown of the head, rooting down toward the earth. And spiral, turning. So you're drawing the right elbow back. Releasing the right hand, fingertips resting toward the floor. Following the end of the spiral with your head and neck, watch the left shoulder might want to curl in. So keep that space open there. Keep it wide across the chest. Breathe. This can move a little bit. So the movement is preparing for the next place in the seated twist, which would be to release the right arm, bend the elbow, and wrap the arm behind your back. So here, the right shoulder is curling in a bit. Open the right shoulder. All those little shifts, tuning, fine-tuning. Let it breathe. Unwrap when you're ready, facing toward your legs. Again, a little rocking through the shoulders before you release out of this position on this side. To pick up the leg, bring it forward. Bring the other leg out. So you fold the right in. That's your half of a Sukhasana, cross-legged position. Bringing the left leg, cradle the leg to rock it in the hip. Notice what's happening around the neck and shoulders. Release the jaw. Occasionally smiling. I'm smiling in connection with you here and there. A smile is just to open the face, make a shift, and then we're moving into the seated twist. So bringing the foot across, right hand behind so you can really lift that left hip. So it's like a folding over, and then you're gonna ease the left hip down, rock. You can even release the foot. Just play with the shifting into the seated twist. A couple times, a few times. Again, if the crossover is too much, adjust the foot forward. Sometimes I use my hands and I just lift the whole thing and bring it down. Take a moment, let it breathe. Rock the shoulders a little bit. That movement preparation, it's a kind way to go into the asana. There are many kind ways to go into the asana. This is one of them. So we're going to have the left hand toward the chest, right hand wrapping. So again, feel long. Settle the shoulders, feel a long neck. Watch for resistance in the left hip. Breathe into the left hip. So bringing into the spiraling, drawing that left elbow back. When you're ready, you can release the left hand, fingertips toward the floor. Let it breathe. Play a little bit with the spiral, a little bit of movement. Movement will help naturally let the breath go from any tendency to retain the breath. 2, bring the left arm out, bend the elbow, wrap behind. So again here, the left shoulder may have a tendency to curl in. Open that space. Keep it wide across your chest. Feel your seatedness. Let it breathe. When you're ready, unwrap, turn to face the legs. Pick up that left leg. So I'm going to bring it into a half lotus. Of course, half lotus is not for everyone. You can draw it down to a Sukhasana, easy seat. You can modify, bring it forward. You can take a moment, take care of your legs, shake out. So the left is coming for me. I'm bringing it to a half lotus place, rocking into the sitting bones. Using this time to open the sides. So I'm going to reach into the right. I'm going to turn that palm up. And I'm going to follow the curve. As I'm doing this, the left hand is sliding a little bit until I find where I want it placed. Keep the left elbow bent to keep that shoulder down. Follow the curve. As you're curving, root into the right hip. Bring it back. To take it into the other side, reach into the left. Find the curve, find the placement of the right hand, root into the left hip. The rooting into the hip against the curve is what's going to really open the side here. And once more each side. Follow your timing. Breathe as you go. Bring it back. Shrug the shoulders up. Curl the fingers in. Release. To change legs. So I'm coming into my half lotus on this side, or change the leg that's on top for your Sukhasana, or change your modification. Same thing. So this time I will start reaching into the left and coming over. Following the curve, rooting into the left hip. Letting my breath out when I reach the final point of the curve. And then bringing it into the other side. Again. Last curve. So from this curve, I'm going to round it forward. So rounding, rounding, and the half lotus is too much. For those of you who are there, you can release it into a cross-legged Sukhasana. I'm placing the hands and I'm just undulating through my back, swaying the shoulders. And then coming back. Shoulders over hips, releasing that position of the legs. I'm going to shift this way for a moment to release the legs. So you can lean back and just shake out the legs. You can move a bit more forward. So from here, bringing into a half boat position, you can release the arms either side of the legs. They can be in contact with the legs or not. Change the focus a little bit. A higher diagonal. And then rest the feet, slide the legs. Perhaps flex the feet, reaching the fingers. Reach, exhale. Breathe to the space between the shoulder blades. Relax the flexion. Bring yourself back. Drawing the hands behind to float the legs. Maybe cycle a little bit. Release the hands, arms into your half boat. Breathe. Rest the feet, slide, flex, reaching. Exhale. And relax the flexions. You can take it into a fold. Shake out the shoulders. Breathe, maybe rise away from the legs a little bit. Sort of like a halfway position if you were standing. And soften over, exhale. And walk the hands up the legs. So you're back here, rooted on the sitting bones. And drawing the feet to the floor. Facing you again. So we're going to bring it into some swings, coming onto the right hip. The legs are gathered in like a mermaid, merman position. So as the legs are dropped this way to the right, my right hand is behind. I'm leaning on that right hand. To free up the top leg to cross, and the arm is opposite. So this is same arm as leg, going in the opposite direction to find this turning, spiraling. You're going to swing the leg back and reach the arm forward. Maybe the arm bends. See how far you want to go with that spiral action. Change, 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 and bring the legs in. Roll it through the center. So you find yourself on your left hip, setting yourself up here. Nice gathered position. Left hand behind. As you place that hand and give some weight to it to free up the top leg, make sure there's a little give in the elbow, otherwise the shoulder will lock upward. So a little give in the elbow to ease the shoulder as you give some weight to support the position. So cross, arm opposite, swing back, reach forward, change, 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 change. Last set, change, change, and bring the legs in. So from here we're going to push away, coming to your all fours. So you will find yourself here with the hands beneath the shoulders. Drawing the navel in, we're going to take a rounding into your cat place. Scoop the pelvis under, let your head hang. To release, so allow the sway in the low back, reach the tail up. So as you're reaching the tail, just let that carry through so it brings your head through, looking out. Nice open face. Navel in to initiate the rounding cat. Release into the sway. Just notice when you're inclined to breathe in and when you're inclined to breathe out. I'm going to take 2 more sets. Let it round. Back neutral. Wag the tail a little bit, side, side. And even it out, nice and neutral, tucking the toes, moving the hands forward. Give yourself space to come into a melting heart, puppy pose. So drawing your chest down as the tail stays up. Chest comes down. You can rock the shoulders a little bit here. Take a couple of breaths here. And then lift the forehead, adjust the hands in beneath the shoulders, relax the top of the feet. here, and I'm just going to bring it around. So what I've done is I've just drawn my left hip down, that mermaid pose, and bringing my legs out to the Sukhasana to find a closing here. Om Shanti. Peace.